Alada's adventure began even before he was born, while he was still inside his shell. When a carnivore, the most bloodthirsty and ferocious of all the meat-eating dinosaurs, invaded the nesting grounds, Alada's mother had no choice but to flee and leave her eggs behind. The carnivore trampled over her nest. All the iguanodon eggs were crushed except one Alada's. The eggs soon fell into the greedy hands of another dinosaur, only to be dropped into the river. It was carried away by the current, then scooped up by a pteranodon, a flying dinosaur, who took it across the sea to a distant island. As the dinosaur flew over the island, the egg was dropped again. This time it fell through the trees and landed on a branch full of lemurs. Soon Alada's tiny face peered out. "It's a cold-blooded monster from across the sea," cried Yar, one of the lemurs. But his daughter, Plio, wasn't so sure. "Looks like a baby to me," she said. Despite her father's arguments, she took Alada home and raised him as her own. Time passed and Alada grew, and grew, and grew. He was much larger than all of the lemurs. But none of them minded Alada was part of their family. Not even Yar could imagine the clan without him. The young ones loved to play with him, and the older lemurs were proud that he was so helpful and smart. Alada didn't seem to mind the fact that he was the only iguanodon on the island, either. He was part of a happy family. "What more could I want?" he asked Plio. Then, one night, everything changed. A meteor shower lit up the evening sky. But as the lemurs and Alada watched, a red-hot boulder nearly as big as their island dropped from the stars and into the ocean. A giant cloud of fire and smoke filled the sky. The next thing they knew, a shock wave was speeding toward them, across the boiling sea. "Run, Alada! Run!" cried Plio. With Yar, Plio, her daughter, Suri, and a lemur friend named Zini clinging to him, Alada ran at full speed away from the terrifying wave. Meanwhile, meteors rained down all around them. Soon it seemed like every bush and tree was on fire. The island was small, and it didn't take long for Alada to reach its edge. In front of him and the lemurs was a cliff at least 100 feet above the water. Behind them, the shock wave was flattening trees and destroying everything in its path. Alada and his friends knew what they had to do. Alada took a running leap off the cliff just seconds before the shock wave got there. With his legs churning, the dinosaur fell through the air for what seemed like forever, until at last, he hit the water. Splash! He and the lemurs found each other. And together they struggled toward the rocky mainland. Flames raged all around them, and thick, black smoke poured into the sky. Still, they were better off than they would have been on the island, where it seemed nothing was left but fire. "Come on," said Alada, rising to his feet and helping the lemurs onto his back. "We can't stay here." Alada and the lemurs trudged along for a while, looking for other creatures. Then they spotted a whole herd of dinosaurs. They found out that the herd was marching toward the nesting grounds in search of food and water. Alada and the lemurs decided to join them. The journey was very long, and Alada watched as dinosaur after dinosaur collapsed from exhaustion. The herd's cruel leader, Crone, didn't care. "We stop for nothing," he growled. And no one. As far as he was concerned, weak dinosaurs would be left behind. But Alada didn't agree. "If we watch out for each other," he told Crone's sister, Nira, "we all stand a chance of getting to your nesting grounds." He did his best to help the young, the old, and the weak carry up, no matter how hard Crone pushed them. Finding food and water and getting rest were not the only problems the herd had to worry about. A far greater danger emerged: big, mean, hungry carnivores. If we don't keep moving, they'll catch up to us. Crone growled, pushing the herd even harder. But the ones in the back, the young and the old, Alida argued. They'll never make it. They'll slow down the predators, sneered Crone. And if you ever interfere again, he warned Alida, I'll kill you. Alida just couldn't stand by and let Crone sacrifice the weakest of the herd. So he and the lemurs stayed behind to help them. Patiently, Alida tried to hurry the weaker dinosaurs along. But a sudden storm sent them scrambling to a nearby cave. Bolts of lightning flashed in the sky and thunder crashed around them. Boom! Alida and his friends huddled together, knowing that the herd had moved on. By the time the storm had passed, 2 hungry carnivores had discovered their cave. Alida and his friends were trapped. Do you smell that? Zini asked. Suddenly, he leaped over to the far cave wall and dug at a patch of loose rocks. Soon they gave way, revealing a small opening and a thin. We're out of here, exclaimed Alida, charging at the wall. Ray of sunlight. But instead of making the opening bigger, Alida started a rock slide that all but blocked it. No! Alida cried, his heart sinking in despair. The oldest dinosaur picked up her enormous front feet and slammed them against the cave wall. Immediately, it began to crumble. The next thing Alida knew, the weak dinosaurs were breaking down the wall. At last, it gave way, and they found themselves in the nesting grounds. But where was the rest of the herd? Another dinosaur realized that the herd's path had been blocked by an avalanche. Instantly, Alida knew what he had to do. He raced back through the cave to warn Crone and the herd and show them the new path. Listen to him, Nira urged her brother. Crone wouldn't listen. Even when a carnivore appeared, Crone was not about to take anyone else's advice. This way, he roared, beginning to climb the steep, rocky wall. Follow me. But the other dinosaurs didn't trust him anymore. They listened to Alida instead. Stay together, he told them. So the herd banded together and bellowed at the carnivore. Sure enough, it turned away. Then it spotted Crone all alone and charged. Crone never did make it to the nesting grounds. But thanks to Alida, the rest of the herd did. Welcome home, he declared as he led the dinosaurs and his lemur family into the sunny, green valley. At last, their journey had come to an end. Alida was very happy. He and Nira settled down and soon had a baby of their own. His lemur friends were very excited. It was a new beginning for everyone.